Hi guys, Brian from Brian Boas here. I'm truly fortunate to have such a beautiful collection of locality boas. And one of my objectives of the Brian Boas YouTube channel is to bring you these beautiful animals, at least vicariously, to your home so that you can experience them. So with this in mind, it's often at arm's length from the camera like I'm showing you now. And you miss out on some of the intimate details, but today I thought I would get out my close-up lens and shoot some close-ups of these animals so you can see how beautiful they are close up. If you're new to the channel, this is the place for information about all aspects of keeping and breeding boa constrictors in captivity. So if you want to learn all about these amazing animals, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming boa videos. So I thought I'd start off with this beautiful Surinam true red-tail boa. So this is a female who's now going on 5 years old from my Prometheus bloodline. And this particular animal just really stood out from the beginning. And believe me, there were quite a few standouts in that litter. But this particular female just had these gorgeous saddles, just almost perfect, just beautiful. They almost look like they were painted on. And I just love how there's one saddle right here where it's not fully formed, so gives her a little bit of character and personality, but just really a gorgeous animal. So really clean looking animal. Let me show you her tail. Just beautiful, long, clean red tail. I don't think you can really beat that in a true red tail. And here we have a close-up of her head. She's not really sitting still very much today, but hopefully you can see the beautiful wedge-shaped head and a lot of gorgeous pink and rose highlights in there, as well as her beautiful eyelash markings. Just a gorgeous example of a head shape of a true red-tail boa. Here we have another true red-tail. This one is actually quite a bit rarer than the Surinam red-tails, at least on the boa market. This is a Venezuelan true red-tail boa. And this particular animal was bred by my good friend Mike Lucchese, and I saw this animal shortly after she was born, and she just really stood out from the litter. She's just so super clean. She almost looks like she's made of plastic or something. She's just like amazingly clean boa. I almost think there might be some kind of a morph type of thing going on with this animal. It almost reminds me of the jungle morph in the common morph boas, but gorgeous animal. I was really lucky to acquire this animal, and beautiful animal. Just wanted to do a close-up of her head, and one of the points I wanted to make is people will often claim that true red-tails don't have this cross marking, and that's indicative of a boa imperator. But here you can see a true red-tail boa from Venezuela, and she has that cross marking between the eyes. So you can't always go by these rules that people claim to try to identify the origin of your snakes. And here's a look at her tail. You can see, this beautiful, a little bit orangish red, but just look how clean that background is. It's just very clean boa. And I just wanted to clarify, this is actually the form of Venezuelan red tail. It's the Rio Bravo bloodline. The breeders that Mike had came from Ron Greenberg. And this is different from the Tarahumara Venezuela bloodline, which is another locality I have. This particular type of Venezuelan, the actual exact locality is unknown. It's somewhere from Venezuela. So I thought I'd get one more true red tail before we move on. And this is certainly a pretty spectacular example. This is an Iquitos Peruvian true red tail boa. This guy is about 5 years old, going on 5 years now. Bred on a farm down in Iquitos, Peru. And kind of unusual saddle shapes. You can see they're slightly peaked and quite blocky. Nice red tail. Just a cool animal overall. And looks a little bit different than a lot of the Iquitos boas. And I like having that diversity in my collection. You can see he's getting out this really nice golden color. His colors are really coming out. Hopefully this guy should be ready to breed in another probably year or two. I'm not sure if I have a female who's going to be ready next year though, so it might be the following year that I pair this guy up. And there's his head. You can see his really nice eyelash markings and beautiful saddles. Just love the contrast of the saddles with the background color. And then one point I wanted to make, you may have noticed that I'm filming these boas on these river pebbles, as the substrate to sit on. And I found that the river pebbles help the boas feel comfortable because they give them the sense of security, and it helps boas sit still. Although actually my first two boas didn't sit as still as this guy. But when I'm photographing boas, it can be really helpful. It's also a nice background because it's not too busy, and the boas really come out, they stand out well against these river pebbles. So I'll often photograph my baby boas on the background of the river pebbles. Moving on from the true red tails, here we have the first non-true red tail. This is a very rare boa. This is a Paraguana peninsula boa, also known as a Paraguanera boa, from the Paraguana peninsula in northwest Venezuela. And this is actually an anerythristic form, so it lacks the red and yellow pigment. It has this beautiful, almost black and white look to it. Just a gorgeous animal. I've been getting a lot of positive comments. A lot of you guys love this animal, which I certainly understand because it's definitely one of my top favorite boas. But this beautiful, beautiful animal. Just wanted to do a close-up of his body detail. You can see this beautiful black and white color. And some anerythristic boas really turn brownish as they mature. This animal has really held on to his black and white appearance nicely. Just beautiful animal. This guy is now going on 5 years old. I'm not going to breed this one this year, maybe next year. I have an anerythristic female. I do have a pair of non-anerythristic Paraguana boas set up this year, so fingers crossed that I'll get some babies. They may actually be het. I don't even know if they're het or not, but they could be het for anery, in which case I might actually get some aneries as well. But whatever the results, if I get any baby Paraguana boas, I'll be, super happy. The Paraguanera peninsula boas, of course, are a dwarf form, and here we have another dwarf boa. This is the Tarahumara mountain boa from northern Mexico, the most northerly ranging boa constrictor. And this is a beautiful animal that has a very high pink color. His mother has a lot of pink, and this guy inherited the pink color. Also, he got this beautiful circle back pattern. You can see how nicely symmetrical his saddles are with these beautiful ovals in between them. Just a really beautiful animal. So this guy was born here in 2018, sub-adult, probably be ready to breed in another couple of years. And here's a close-up of his head. The Tarahumara have this characteristic dark markings on their head, typically with this cross between the eyes, although they don't always have it, but just in general, much darker markings. And as you can see, this guy is really mellow. He's just kind of chilling, hanging out. I would actually say that Tarahumara might actually be the pet rock of the boa constrictor, and by pet rock I mean that in the best possible way. I really like that these guys don't really move around that much. I mean, people talk about ball pythons as being pet rocks, but it's kind of nice to take a boa out and just have it chill and not try to get away. And you can see this guy is just hanging out, not trying to get away, cooperating for the filming, unlike some of my other boas. And I really haven't even tamed this guy. I don't really handle him that much, but just one of the characteristics of the Tarahumara mountain boa that I find really appealing, just the fact that they don't really move around that much. Thought I'd show you another darker boa. This is a beautiful Argentine boa, boa constrictor occidentalis, and this is a male who's now about 2 years old that I acquired as a future breeder, and he's kind of starting to take on more of his adult look. When they're babies, they have more defined saddles and this pink coloration, but then that fades as they mature, and by the time they're adults, all the pink is gone, and typically the saddles become a lot less distinct. But you can see this guy, just a beautiful dark colors, kind of a blacks and whites and grays, but he'll continue to get darker as he ages. And you can see the beautiful head markings of this male Argentine boa, one of my favorite locality boas. I won't have any babies this year, but hopefully in 2022 I'll produce some baby Argentines. For our last snake today, I thought I'd get out another really cool dwarf locality boa. This is a crawl key boa from a small island off the coast of Belize. And this guy is one of my favorites to take out and handle. He's just super chill and mellow and laid back, really enjoyable to handle. He doesn't try to get away, but he also holds on. But he's now going on 8 years old, and he's only about 4 feet long, and he won't really get any bigger. So great boa for those who don't have a lot of space. And I would say my 2 top recommended dwarf boas are the Tarahumara mountain boa and the Locality boa. I produced a litter last year with this guy, so he's got the year off. But hopefully next year we should have some more Locality dwarf boas. And here's some close-ups. You can see the beautiful silvery gray color. They're almost an anerythristic form of boa with just a little bit of red pigment. This guy also has quite a bit of striping. You can see that stripe on his body. I just love the overall look of these animals and the speckling and the nice gray color. Some of them turn kind of brownish. This guy's got this really nice grayish color. And the patterns can be, some animals have more well-defined saddles. This guy has kind of more irregular saddles and, more speckles and splotches, but just a really cool look. So those were some close-ups of some of my favorite Locality boas. I hope this was educational and entertaining. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via social media. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.